Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jake Lockley. I am your host, Stephen Grant, and today we're going to be talking about Mark Spector. That's not true. We're going to be talking about a TV show that Jake is going to be pitching.
No, we're not talking about Moon Knight, which is what he was referencing there. Yeah. Maybe I'll put that spiel at the beginning or the end. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll put it at the end, and then you'll have to wait for the whole podcast to hear Charlie talk about Moon Knight. Smart. He's got theories. He's got aspirations.
I don't have any aspirations, but I do have theories about things. It occurred to me the other day that we should probably, and by we, I mean I should probably, tell the people what we do in the podcast before we start.
I try to do that every once in a while.
I know you do.
In fact, I told you to do that many times, and
I
you
always
ignore me.
Step on it, and
So
I'm
going to do it now. So what we do on this podcast is we pitch TV shows. Mm-hmm. That's where the pilot comes in from the name. Yeah. And they're arguably reasonable, so that's why we put in the very reasonable.
Yeah.
Because we're liars, and we want you to think it's reasonable.
Of course, that's how you get ahead in the TV business.
But each week we pitch these TV shows, and it's my turn this week, isn't it?
It is your turn. We switch off every week, pitching a new TV show, and every 10 episodes, we pitch a weird TV show that we make up on the day. We definitely don't make up any of the other ones on the day. Promise. Probably. So what do you have for us today, this week?
Never. I've got a nice show that I made up today for you.
Oh, goody.
This morning, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Wrote it just for you, Charlie.
That's exciting.
All right. Anyway, the name I'm still debating. It's so far I'm going with A Bard's Tale, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that somewhere before. So
yeah,
I don't want to pinch someone else's title.
I think that maybe.
But anyway, A Bard's Tale. That's what we're gonna go with. Until,
yeah. How about
you know what it is?
I'm pretty sure it's like a point-and-click adventure game from the 90s.
I don't think I've played it, but maybe I guess I've heard it before.
I have definitely seen A Bard's Tale on Steam in one of those classic game roundup things, you know?
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know because I haven't seen it.
Maybe we could just call it Bard's Tale instead of A Bard's Tale.
The Bard's Tale.
The Bard's Tale.
Then we one up throw in that definite article because we're like, screw you and your indefinite article. We don't need you.
Yeah, you silly boy. Think you're coming in here with your articles? Well, guess what? We're both journalism majors. We got articles for days. That's what we'll say.
No, actually, I graduated. I'm not a silly journalism major like you.
You have a degree in journalism.
A real journalist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're getting a job journalisming.
Yes, see.
Yeah.
Anyway, this story, The Bard's Tale, is set in the fantasy realm of Loontonia, a magical medieval world of strange people and creatures.
Okay, cool.
How do you feel about that realm name? It's pretty great. It. Loontonia. Yeah. It's kind of a silly world.
Are there rabbits that talk and ask about doctors?
Sure, why not?
Cool.
I don't know what that's a reference to, but
it sounded like you were talking about Looney Tunes.
Oh, Looney Tunes.
And I was talking about Bugs
No, I was just
Bunny.
going like they're crazy.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it's here's the thing. I wrote this show, and then I realized that it's very similar to another show I pitched.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that the characters are similar. The characters are all very different. It's the world is kind of similar to a show I pitched. You might not remember. It's called The Gift of Gab.
I remember The Gift of Gab.
Yeah, that one. The fantasy world's kind of similar to this one because I had the same inspiration and I didn't realize I had already made a world like this. But anyway, it's a silly fantasy world that doesn't take itself very seriously. Is the idea. And if you call me a copier, well, I'm copying myself, so
it doesn't count. It's called self-plagiarism, and it's okay.
It's okay because this is different. Maybe they could be in the same world.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Two different stories in the same world, even though I named them two different things. But maybe I could go back and change that later. Anyway, we're following our main character, a bard. Oh. Her name is Freya Alex. We're going to call her Frey for short.
What's her instrument?
Alex is spelled with a K.
Oh, cool. Is she what's her instrument of choice? Like, what kind of classic is she? Should
like
we
a lute, you know?
A lute?
Classic little 6-string weird thing. Maybe I can make up some weird thing that has like 12 strings.
Yeah.
But a string instrument, you know, that you hold.
Double neck to lute. That would be funny if you gave her a double neck lute.
Sure, I'm okay with whatever. She just needs to have a string instrument, so we can have someone with a guitar actually play it, and then we'll have songs and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have songs. We'll be singing.
It's kind of a musical show. I like the idea of it. It's
okay
like a fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's lots of songs in it. So she's a talented singing bard.
Okay.
But she's a coward, and she likes to talk her way out of everything, which usually results in her talking a bunch and then running away because it doesn't really work. So she'll be like, oh, you know, everything, guys, we could talk about this. See, like, I could write you a song, and then she just runs away.
Yeah.
And they'll like, get her! Because she, you know, screwed them over in some way, or she just wrote a song that wasn't very nice.
Yeah, she said something mean about somebody and didn't realize they were standing behind her. Yeah, you know.
But she's a nice person overall.
Yeah.
Her background is she was a bullied theater kid.
As most bards are.
So the bullying sort of is where she gets the cowardice and talking her way out of things and running away. So when she was a kid, she'd get picked on, and then she would, you know, put on a little act, then run away.
Run away. Probably, I don't know, do some kid stuff. Home Alone, some bitches. Throw some marbles down, they fall down. She sing a little song. You know, fun stuff.
Unlike most main characters that we pitch, her parents are alive and supportive.
Wow.
But they don't really understand what she does, her job. Every time she like sees her parents in this show, they're gonna be like, so how's the acting going? She's like, I'm a bard, I'm not an actor. Like, see, like you're in a band. Like, no, I'm a bard. She's like, yeah, I got it. You like you like to dance. I'm like, no, that's not what I do.
Maybe both her parents are deaf, so they literally just can't understand what she's doing.
Like they're losing their hearing. Maybe not completely deaf, but it's like it's out there, you know? Yeah,
and we can occasionally switch to their perspective and listen to what they're hearing, and it just sounds awful. It's just like she's playing a song, and to everyone else who's watching, it's like, oh, that's a really cool, good song, you know, catchy hook, all the stuff, and then we switch to them, and it's just. You know,
that's kind of sad because it's like they can't hear their daughters.
Yeah, but it'll be funny. We'll put a laugh track over it, and that'll make it funny.
Taking a sad thing and making it funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So Frey, as we'll call her. The show begins with her singing a song about her companion. So the way this universe kind of works is that there's everyone else, and then there's bards and their warriors. They're like paired together. So every warrior has a bard, every bard has a warrior, and they the bards go along with them, and they sing songs about them, and improve. They're like their personal little medieval PR.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have a bard. Very important for a bard to have a warrior, because then they have things to sing about. And so our show starts off with Frey and her companion slash what's it called? Warrior. Assholius. So Frey is singing a song about Assholius, her warrior partner.
Yeah.
Assholius, she's climbing a mountain, and she's fighting goatblins, which are goblins, but they're goatblins. You see what I was doing?
Goblins, I get it.
So so the show starts off with her singing the song. So this is all sung, and we're like watching an animated reel of Assholius climbing this mountain, fighting goatblins with Frey singing in the background.
Slice them in half with like one strike, being cool.
Yeah.
Song stuff, maybe.
As Assholius says, she's climbing up the mountain, and at the top, she fights numerous black knights and slays a dragon and the evil necromancer, and so Frey's singing about all this stuff. We'll write the song later, or someone else will that can write songs.
What if we could do it's all like she does like heavy metal? She sings it like a Led
It's like
Zeppelin
medieval
song.
times. She's got a guitar. It's like acoustic guitar and singing. Can't do heavy metal.
No, we do like a Led Zeppelin. She sings it like a Led Zeppelin song.
Anyway, ignoring Charlie, and getting back to my thing that I was talking about before I was rudely interrupted. Mm-hmm. At the top, she fights numerous black knights and slays a dragon and the evil necromancer, Bill. Finally, she gets to the top and she saves Kinglius. That's his name, Kinglius.
His name is Kinglius, and he is king.
Yep.
All right. Mm-hmm. Good. So
from the evil trap and restores the ruler to Shamalot. That's his home kingdom.
These names.
And so at the end of this epic tale that Frey sings, we dissolve to her singing the song in like montages. So she's like, we get the story and then she's singing the song and like maybe she's just doing the chorus over and over again in montages throughout like the land and different bars and taverns and stuff.
Yeah. We could do like a little funny thing. She's doing it at like a fair, one of them. Mm-hmm. You know, she's at a bar. She's at like a kid's birthday party. She can go all over places, you know?
And so her and Asholius travel Loontonia doing this rendition.
Yeah.
And doing adventures. And the compilation ends at a massive tavern in Nollywood. And after the song, Frey notices that Asholius isn't in the audience. Mm-hmm. And a courier comes up to her from Bard Bros and gives her a cease and desist notice.
Bard Bros.
So she gets a cease and desist notice.
Oh, from Asholius's lawyers.
From Bard Bros.
Oh, from Bard Bros. Okay.
And she goes to the office because she's like, what the hell? I mean, this is my song. I wrote it. And finds that Asholius has signed a happy ever after deal with Bard Bros, which gives them ownership of all of her adventures forever.
Oh, man.
And
that really fucks over our girl.
Yeah, I know. She loses all of her songs because she can't sing about those adventures.
Yeah.
And so Asholius tells Frey that it's just good business. And she knows it was always her dream to work with Bard Bros. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a breakup, you know?
Yeah.
Frey takes it hard. And she ends up in Shamalot doing stand-up poetry at an inn called the Dead End Inn.
Yeah.
So her life has gone downhill from here. You know, she can't find any warriors. She's, all sad and stuff.
It would be good if, like, she's getting yelled at. I think we should refer to Asholius as all sorts of every name under the sun except for asshole. Like, nobody should be able to put those two puzzle pieces together. Mm-hmm. Maybe it would be good if, like, after that we cut to, we do a slow dissolve fade into, like, a rainy tavern, and we see, like, stand-up, like, written in, like, on a wooden plaque and put out front door, and, she walks in and she, like, gets her poetry ready, and it's stand-up poetry. She thinks it's stand-up poetry, but everyone else knows it's stand-up comedy. So she, like, gets up there and starts saying, like, her very, like, deep emotional poem about, like, the heartache she's suffering, and then she gets, like, boo! Where are the fucking jokes? Yeah, or, they could laugh.
They laughed.
They laughed at her sadness. That would be good.
Yeah. Sad too. They're laughing. They're like, oh, that's so tragic. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, one night, she goes off stage, goes outside to contemplate the pouring down rain. And maybe after she does that sort of poem during the comedy routine.
Yeah.
And she's feeling miserable because everyone laughed at her.
Everyone made fun of her.
That's when she meets poem. Sav and Bog. Mm-hmm. And they come up to her and they say that they really liked her poetry. Now, I guess I'll explain who Sav and Bog are because they're going to be important.
Please do.
So, Bog, his real name is Aurelius Bogdan, but we call him Bog for short.
Yeah.
He's 10% Minotaur, which means he has to shave his horns and has increased strength and a tremendous amount of body hair, which he shaves frequently because he doesn't like it.
Yeah, he wants to be smooth like a dolphin, but he's hairy like a minotaur.
He's from Linota, which is essentially Minnesota, and so he has a Minnesotan accent.
Okay.
So he says sorry and stuff like that. It's not super thick, but it's
he calls
there.
soda pop like some sort of nerd, that sort of thing.
I don't know if they do that in Minnesota.
I'm
maybe they do.
pretty sure they do.
Pretty sure that's a South thing, but whatever. He's very punny. He makes puns. It's a big personality trait right there. Talks in a roundabout, kind of nonsensical way. So he'll like start a sentence and he'll, just sort of like
wait,
get
like
the,
like the, I think I get it. I understand what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like the thing where like that and, but like,
Yeah. He's slow.
It's not that he's slow. He can't come up with like the words around it that he needs.
Yeah.
He can't, like, there's no point. He just says all the words except for the nouns that are important in the sentence.
He says all the words except for the, everything that's required for the sentence to make sense.
Exactly.
He's full of articles. Yeah.
Makes sense. But he's brave. He comes from a small town with lots of siblings. And he knows little of the world besides family and love. And he struck out on his own to become a great warrior like his dad. So, he's like the small town country boy who's decided to become an adventurer.
How much is his dad Minotaur at all? Like, is his dad like 50% Minotaur?
Minotaur. Well, his dad's like probably like 12.5%. It's watered down at this point.
Well, wouldn't it be funny if like he's Bog is like the biggest member of our crew, right? He's big and hairy and and if he were the smallest member of his family, that'd be funny, they all thought he was like a little weakling.
Maybe because he's only 10% and the rest of them are like 20%.
Yeah.
And the dad's like 25.
He files down his horns, and that's silly because they, his horns are never big enough to file down, so he just does it as like they're just like little ones like here.
Yeah, they don't go above his hair, but he still files it down.
Yeah. Just to feel included. And Sav is the other one, right?
And Sav is his full name. It's just Sav.
Okay.
He's a dwarf. And the reason he has no last name or bigger name is that dwarves don't have last names in this universe. That's their thing. They're all like Madonna,
Or Cher.
Yep. They just
Rihanna.
Sav. That's his name.
Trying to who else? Who else just has one name?
I don't know. It doesn't matter though. Sav, he has a New York Italian accent. That's his thing.
Like fucking, I'm fucking walking here, pizza pie.
So he's got a really precise opinion about his pasta and his sandwiches. And he's kind of lazy and a complainer. I can't do that. But I'm not saying that people from New York are lazy and complainers, but that's his personality.
No, that's for after the podcast when you say that.
But that's his personality. He's really into pasta and sandwiches. Big food guy. And he's really like specific about it. He's the kind of person that'll start arguments about, how you really should make a sandwich. Like someone will have like a Reuben will say. He'd be like, that's not right. You can't make a Reuben like that. You don't know what you're doing.
Get out of here with your fucking 3-island dressing. You need at least 1,000 islands. Maybe, could we do a thing where, like, somebody will be like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Because that's always the go-to argument. And before anyone's able to say anything, Sav just slices his head off. Because that's a fucking annoying ass argument that people make.
Is it? No, or maybe it's like he can't. It's like I can't do that again.
I'm not.
Like, what? What do you mean? Like last time, I got into this argument. It went bad.
Hurt.
I can't.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's just like I can't go to Pizza Pie Village anymore because of it.
Pizza Pie Village. It's my favorite. It was my favorite vacation spot. They got
the best pies in the world. That Pizza Pie Village.
The best pies in all. What should we have a place that's like it's like New York, but that's not the.
Well, he could just say the whole continent, which is Loontonia. Best pies in Loontonia.
In Loontonia. And just
Loontonia. Maybe he skips the N. Loontonia. I don't know if that's a thing, but. he'll do
Yeah,
that.
they skip letters. They barely know how to
all
read.
accents skip letters, so.
Yeah, but New Yorkers skip more letters because they don't know how to read.
You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
I'll fight any New Yorkers who listen to this podcast.
No, you won't. So he's kind of lazy and a complainer. He's, classic "Are you there yet?" sort of thing.
Yeah.
Are we there yet? Not "Are you there yet?"
Are you there yet?
And he struggles to learn new things.
Yeah.
But he seems to know everybody, and he's got like a weird set of skills. Like for very unique situations. So he used to like box, and so he knows everyone in sort of the boxing world in this universe, and he could get them in places, and like he knows a lot of just important people in towns, so he can get them jobs and stuff like that.
The more you describe this character, the more I think of him as like a cheater, Like he's always looking for an easy, quick way of succeeding. So, maybe we have a boxing, match one episode, and he's Bog's like coach. He's got him like he's warming him up. And he's like, and just for a little extra, I put a bunch of rocks at the end of your gloves, so don't worry about that. And then he just sends him out, and Bog gets disqualified and like thrown in jail because he's breaking the rules because he's got like knuckles in his gloves or whatever. Yeah. Or rocks.
And it's revealed that Sav bet on the other person.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Like he did this all on purpose that he would make money.
Yeah. Because Sav's a schemer.
Yeah. And maybe I'm gonna have it so that Sav and Bog were college roommates.
Okay.
And this never really gets explained, college in this world.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be that they were college roommates. That's what they're just going to be a throwaway line. Yeah. So they sort of knew each other before, and they've known each other a long time.
Roommates in college. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Maybe Sav's really into food. I think it would be good if Bog was like a calorie counter. Like he was one of those guys who's like, no, I can't eat that. That's just empty calories. Because he really cares about his physique, so he's always like...
Sav is... Because we gotta make it sort of related to their backstory. So Sav is, a big foodie.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bog doesn't really have, like, exquisite taste because he's from a small town, so he's used to eating, like, only the few meals that they had.
Yeah.
So he's not sort of experienced like Sav, and he doesn't like spicy food or, like, food that has lots of taste.
Yeah, he just
Sav
likes...
is, like, appalled by that.
I want protein... because maybe it would be funny if he was completely uneducated, because he's from Minnesota, basically, and he's, like, from this tiny little town, and he's mostly Minotaur, but he was, like, all about, like, food science. He was like, no, this has the right number of amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, antioxidants. It's very good for you. And he's just like, everybody's just like, Bog, how do you know those words? Bog, who's taught you these words? And he's like, I take my body very seriously.
I told you, I went to college with Sav.
Yeah. Yeah, study food science.
Just finishing Sav's backstory real quick. So, Sav, he fights with 2 pickaxes because he was a miner. And he was an excellent miner. He comes from a long line of miners, but he had a poor childhood, and he left the family business to spite his mom.
Yeah.
So he left Dwarf Town, or Miner Hole, or Dwarf
Miner.
Hole.
I like Miner Hole. That's a good name for a town. Miner Hole.
Miner Hole.
Yeah.
So he left Miner Hole and met our boy Bog in college.
So does he just have 2 like of the same pickaxe?
Just 2 pickaxes.
Maybe he could have one like old pickaxe and one new pickaxe, and the new pickaxe is shit. It's always bending and cracking. And then the old pickaxe that costs like 2 cents and has been in his family since like 800 years ago is like sharp as ever, and like he could throw it across the room and like, hit a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like boomerang too, it bounces back.
Yeah,
no one explains that, and people are always like, "How does that work? Why does it come back?" And he's like, it's a pickaxe. Why wouldn't it do that?"
Yeah,
it's a pickaxe.
Well, have you never been to college?
God,
fucking
this guy's never been to Miner Hole. Doesn't know what he's talking about. All the dwarves mine like that.
Yeah, they just throw it at a wall. You just throw the pickaxe at a wall, bounces back, you catch it, you throw it back. It's like a game of fetch, except with the
pickaxe.
Like, with a wall. Yes, Bog, with a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
So, back to the story. So that's when she met Sav and Bog outside the stand-up comedy place where she did poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And the trio all go out for a drink, and we sort of fall into them having a fun night. They go gnome bowling and giant penguin racing.
Yeah.
Gnome
All
bowling
sorts
is
of fun
essentially
stuff.
bowling, but the pins are gnomes.
Mm-hmm. What's the ball? Just a ball? Or is it like another gnome that maybe it's a gnome they've crushed into a ball shape?
Maybe. Or maybe it's like some sort of... What's a predator to gnomes, do you think? Like a raccoon?
A raccoon? Yeah, it could be a hedgehog.
Yeah,
and then
a
when
hedgehog,
they roll
and they throw the hedgehog and it rolls like a ball.
Yeah, and
then
when they roll
comes
it,
racing back up because we don't have the technology to send the ball back, so the hedgehog just comes running back at them.
But it'd be funny if they rolled the hedgehog, it hit all the pins that are gnomes, and then all of the gnomes start screaming in pain because they've got like a bunch of hedgehog needles sticking out of their faces. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh God, oh I need a $5. They have to bring out like a little gnome stretcher for all of them.
Little gnome ambulance comes.
They get one stretcher and they could put all the gnomes on it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's how every game of gnome bowling ends.
Yeah, you only get to throw it once.
Yeah.
They go giant penguin racing. You know how penguins like slide on their stomach?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine there's giant penguins.
Yeah.
And they could slide on it like a bobsled.
They've got saddles, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like how they have like a ice section of Disney World where it's all just fake ice, I don't know if that's actually in Disney World, but they just like the entire town is like not warm, but it's like moderate temperature, rainy, and then they just go to this one section and there's a wizard who's constantly doing ice spells to keep it cold so that they can keep getting the revenue from the giant penguin races.
Yeah.
And they can do like a snow cone. It'd be fun.
It would be fun. Yeah, they get snow cones and stuff. That'd be good.
Yeah.
And so the night ends at a scent lounge, which is a lounge that has like just weird smells. And that's the thing. They have like you can get like smells from your childhood, like nostalgia smells, or you can get smells from like, exotic places, and you just like whiff these smells. That's kind of what it is. And so they're laying down in a circle, talking about their lives. At the end of a long, fun night where
they're all a little stoned from the smells. Yeah.
And they start talking about like what they want to do with their lives. This is where we can get like all the backstory from this drunken sort of just explanation of their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, they decide to form their own adventuring company.
Yeah.
Because they all their interests sort of line up. Bog wants to be an adventurer. Sav
wants to make that money.
Wants to make money and do something. He just needs something to do, really.
Yeah, he just likes to get into stuff.
And Freya needs someone to write about, so to sing about. So they're like, you know what? We'll start our own company. Boom. End of pilot.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah, and then I could go into the season if you'd like, or if you have any suggestions.
I think I want to hear the season, but I think it would be good if second episode or like. Maybe you don't end the pilot with them being friends. Or you do end the pilot with them being friends, but Sav gets really mad that Asholius sold all of the rights to the songs to what's it called? Bang Bros? Bard Bros. So they like end with them all going to Asholius' house and just egging the place. But it's like huge, like ostrich-sized eggs, so they have to get Bog to huck them over his head like a soccer ball, and they like break windows and they get in trouble and they have to run away. And that's how the pilot ends. You could say it's some like
mystical creature's egg, like they're griffin eggs or something.
Yeah, but it's like that's the same as a chicken egg here. Griffins are just they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, no, you go to the grocery store, you buy griffin eggs.
Yeah. But they like all get in trouble, or they're like, Asholius gets angry because her window's just been shattered, and she starts yelling at all of them, and they all just have to run away into the night, and that's how the show ends, or the pilot ends with them running away into the night, having done their first scheme. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe Assholius like swears vengeance on whoever broke her window too. Mm-hmm. Something like that. Anyway, the trio starts their own company and begins doing jobs across the continent, fighting in battles, stopping wars, saving people. That's kind of like the first few episodes is about just sort of adventures that they went on. Mm-hmm. And as they adventure, they come across portals that are letting evil monsters into the realm. So this is where the real story comes in. So this is going to be like around episode like 3 or 4, where you get the first instance of a big, streamlined plot coming in.
Yeah.
See, we have cool monsters come in, and they fight the monsters and close the portal.
Yeah.
And they find out, because they're trying to figure out who's opened these portals to the Nether Realm, it's called. Mm-hmm. And so they're, going around trying to find what's happening. They go to Shamalot, and they're, like, looking for it. And Frey's like, so I think it might be this club that's advertising. It's called the Cult of the Nether Realm Club. And so it's going to be like a super like silly, obvious, realization when they find them out, because they're like advertised posters and everything. Mm-hmm. But they're actually like an evil organization.
Yeah. But it would be funny also if it was like the cult of the like Nether Realm Death King or whatever.
Yeah.
Club. Free drinks on Tuesday for anyone, under the age of 12. We're doing happy hours Thursday and Friday.
From 4 to 6.
4 to 6, come on down. Mm-hmm. Have our own live entertainment, and they just have, like, a demon from the Nether realm, like, stuck on a hot tin plate singing or in pain.
Just, like, screaming, yeah.
Yeah. That sort of
thing.
They
like that, And people are, like, dancing to it. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's good in their minds. And they're selling vinyls of it.
Yeah, they've got vinyls, but they've got, like, a guy making the vinyls, and it's just like carving it into a bit of wood.
Yeah.
It's just like,
but it works, it works.
Yeah, it still works.
So the show is gonna have them, fighting the NetherRealm Club for a bit, and it's gonna end with an awesome battle I wrote at the RB portal.
Oh.
RB portal stands for really big portal. Which is going to be like, the big showdown.
For roast beef portal.
The big showdown at the end, where they're like, oh, we're going to let in all the big monsters from the Nether Realm.
Yeah.
And our trio, Freya and Bog and Sav, are going to be like, no, we'll stop you. And, some of the friends they've made along the way, Assholius will be there.
Assholius will be like, we could lie. Sav will be like, those are the guys who broke your window with that egg. Yeah, I heard about it. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. Go get him. And Assholius is like, sure. She's got like a big army of people. Not big army. She's got like 6 guys with her.
She's but they're all... See, Assholius kind of like fights on her own. Mm-hmm. So I imagine maybe she has like... Cause she works for Bard Bros now. Maybe she has like an entourage of like people that help her, Yeah. Like somebody throws her sword. So she does all the actual fighting, but there are people around her like, throwing her weapons and like, taking arrows for her.
Yeah, maybe it would be funny if they were like it was gnomes that were helping her out, like with her armor and stuff. So there were all these gnomes that had to stack on top of each other to like get her clipped into her armor, and like they put a drink in front of her and she drinks out of the straw. And they do like a tandem. They throw one of the gnomes in front of an arrow that goes and like it hits them, and the gnome just bounces off her armor. Gets to block the arrow, and she's like, huh, thanks, Dave. And then she runs in and slices the guy in half. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
At some point during the show, maybe around like episode like 3, they'll meet Assholius again, and her new bard from Bard Bros, whose name is Better, Betther, Thayu, Thayu.
Yeah,
fully pronounced as better than you. Yeah. It's gonna be like, we'll probably have somebody with like a French accent or something. Because I think it'd be funny to have like this bard with a really thick accent and this name that essentially means better than you in English. Yeah. And Frey takes that very personally. It's clear that no one else realizes that the name
means
implicates that this bard is better than Freya. But Freya very much realizes it, has like a disgusted, sort of like annoyed look on her face whenever she sees Better Than You. Yeah.
And maybe it's like Better Than You is playing all of the songs that Freya wrote, you know, and Assholius will be like, yeah, we get like 10 times the tips with Better Than You. You know, he's just better than you. He's really good.
He's just like, you know, I don't know how to say it. Better Than You is just, he's just like,
he's got a certain
more good than you, I would say.
Yeah, he's got, how can I put this? More skills and talent. Is that nice enough? Yeah. Because I don't imagine Assholius as being purposefully mean. I imagine her as being obliviously mean.
Yeah.
You know?
And sort of like a stuck-up asshole sort of thing as well.
Yeah. But she doesn't mean to be like a bad person. But just like everything she says and does is so pretentious and full of itself that there's no way you could not be absolutely annoyed by this person.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So during, if I can switch back to the show real quick, because I got some shit I want to get through. Yeah. They're doing crazy big quests, Assholius and Better Than You, and they're bragging about them. And it's clear in the beginning that Sav and Bog are like obsessed with Assholius. Because they're like, oh my god, she's the best warrior ever. We wish we were Assholius. And over time, however, Sav and Bog will begin to dislike Assholius because they'll catch on to how she treats Frey.
Yeah.
And over time, Freya will also get over her hatred of Assholius. Because she'll be like, alright, I got my own thing going, so...
Yeah, I got better friends now. Not you. You always made me sleep on the floor whenever we had to share a hotel room.
Yeah.
They let me sleep in the bed.
We could have some good flashbacks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. They give me 50% of the gold for what I make. You gave me 10. You know? That sort of thing.
Yeah, and she'll say she gets 50%, and Sav and Bog will be like, wait, you get 50%?
Wait, what?
I thought we did, a 1/3 split here.
Just, shush.
Yeah, no, I mean, shush.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, 1/3, that's what we do.
1/3, yeah.
It's 50%.
And she just, like, slowly puts a pouch of gold back in her jacket. She's like, 50%. I mean, 1/3.
Bog, his arc is going to be he supplements his old family's love with his new one, because it's going to be clear that he's sort of missing his family, and he's become a great warrior, kind of like his dad. We're still going to see his family. We're going to go to Leonora for the Christmas specials.
Yeah, of course.
It's Christmas up there because it's cold and there's snow. That means it's Christmas. And so that's where we're going to go on the Christmas specials. Maybe on one of the Christmas specials, we're going to have like a Hallmark story where he gets married to his childhood sweetheart.
Oh, that's nice.
But it's going to be like, sort of silly because...
His childhood sweetheart is a goat.
Well, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say Sav and Freya are like disgusted by the Hallmark story and all the love around them, They're going to be like, they can't stand all this like happiness because they're used to like the harsh real world and not the perfect idyllic paradise that is this little town in Leonora. But eventually, they'll come around because it's a Christmas special and they'll be like, oh, having fun with the family.
Maybe Bog gets married to his childhood sweetheart, who he is convinced, absolutely positive, that she is a princess who has been transformed into a goat.
Yeah.
And can only be untransformed by true love's kiss at like the strike of midnight or whatever. So the entire Hallmark episode is him and his family setting up a marriage between him and a goat. Because they're just letting him do whatever. Yeah. And Bog is very sure, but Sav and Freya are like, we can't let our friend marry a goat. We're not doing it. So everyone's just confident that this goat is not a princess.
Yeah.
And then they kiss, and it's, who's the most beautiful person you can think of? It's Scarlett Johansson.
We'll call it, because Cleopatra, right?
Yeah.
It has that moniker in history. We'll be like Cleopatra.
Because
that's the kind of the world we live in, where in this universe where it's like, all silly. Bleedapatra?
Bleedapatra, because she's a goat.
Okay, gotcha. So it's Bleedapatra.
Yeah.
And so the family and Bog knew this was going to happen, but Sav and Freya throughout the episode are trying to sabotage the marriage because they think he's marrying an actual goat. And then it turns out to be this princess, and they're like, oh, shit.
Good on you, buddy. And we can have him doing his whole wedding day routine. His entire body gets shaved. Yeah. From the head to the toes.
But they have to shave it 10 minutes before the ceremony because it grows back every 20 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm. It's like you can see the beard coming in as the, vows get read. And I think it would be good if we met one of Bog's brothers in one of the earlier episodes, 4 or 5, you know? And he is Bog is, he's a pretty competent warrior at this point, but his brother is an absolute fucking tank who's killing trolls and shit with one swing of his hammer. Mm-hmm. And
But Bog, he's also very sweet and these are huge, big, strong people that seem terrifying, but they're really sweet and nice.
Yeah, and I think maybe his brother could be
cookies or something.
He makes cookies, but he could make fun of Bog for being oh, you little shrimp.
It's the little Bog brother, because Bog is the last name. So that's what the little Bog.
That's what they
and
do,
Big Bog.
Big Bog. That's what they call me, Big Bog. All right, little Bog. Mm-hmm. And then that the episode can end with Bog saving his brother from this huge dragon, or something else awesome and amazing. And Bog, I don't know, he could do that thing that heroes always do where they go inside of it and then they cut their way out. Mm-hmm. They jump down the throat and then they slice the tummy, sort of thing.
Yeah,
he could do that because that's always cool. And he does the thing where he blows all the air out of his nose like a minotaur would.
Mm-hmm.
Minotaur. Minotaur or Minotaur?
Minotaur.
Minotaur. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I dig it. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to Sav, his arc. He's going to become more loving. So he's very hard in the beginning. And he's going to cope with his harsh past through therapy. He's going to get elven therapy.
Oh, that's nice.
And then Freya, her arc is she's going to become a great bard, and her songs just keep getting better and better. Probably have a song every other episode. Mm-hmm. And she becomes famous in her own right and gets asked to join Bard Bros, but declines. That's her big thing, She finally gets accepted to Bard Bros, but she says no. No.
She gets a #1 Billboard hit, mm-hmm. and we go to Shamalot, and they just have a magical billboard that has a big list of songs.
Yeah.
And they're #1 is Freya with Suck a Dick, Assholius.
Yeah. Something silly. Yeah, no. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's my shout. That's about it. That's what I got.
I like it. Oh, wait, so The Bard's Tale? Is that
The Bard's Tale is what I call it.
The Bard's Tale. All right, mm-hmm. I like it. I like it. I would watch this show. Where are you thinking, animated or live action?
Probably animated.
Yeah.
It's silly, so it kind of needs to be. I'd be good with live action, too.
I think it'd be fun if we did live action. If you cast, the Mountain, the guy who played the Mountain, as Bog. I think that would be fun. But it would cost a lot of money to do this show live action.
Yeah, because you got to do magic and stuff. It's gonna be less CGI. So
yeah, and the final question, and then I'll take us out. What character would you want to play?
That's a good question. I think I want to play the other bard better than you.
Okay, that's very funny.
I could do a really crappy French accent. And, that would be my character.
I would want to play all of the gnomes.
All the gnomes?
All of the gnomes. Mm-hmm. They're all identical, and they're all me.
Yeah.
I think that would be funny.
But there's one more question, Charlie, you have to ask.
Oh, yeah. What song would you want to play at the very end?
It's a musical show, so there'd be their own song,
Exactly. That's why I wasn't going to ask that question.
I just wanted you to ask so I could answer like that.
Well, thank you very much for the television program, Jacob Gloth.
Yes.
And thank you very much to the listeners for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles. Along with me has always been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much anywhere else that podcasts are sold except for Stitcher.
Mm-hmm.
They won't have us. Good riddance, I say. Please give us a like, subscribe, tell your friend, tell an enemy, tell a dog, tell a cat, tell a cow, tell a minotaur, and have a good day. Or don't. You're okay. You're allowed to have a bad day if you want to.
Just to clarify, it's not the Stitcher won't have us. It's just we're not on there. It's just what it is.
I'm not.
We've already explained this. You can go back and listen to whatever episode that was. But you should stay after this one because if you forgot, the Moon Knight conversation will be at the end here.
For the Moon Knight, he'll be here. He'll say, "Hello, hello, hello. I'm the Moon Knight. It's me, Oscar Isaac.
This sounds about right. That's how they all sound.
Moon Knight.
I don't know why they think they sound any different than this."
All right. Goodbye, everyone. I love you.
Yep. I'm sorry for the accents.
So, recently, Marvel's Disney Plus television has released the trailer for Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. Only Oscar Isaac is playing Moon Knight, Ethan Hawke is playing a different character. And I am a fan, a genuine fan of Moon Knight as a character. I think he's pretty cool. So I have a lot of theories and observations about the trailer. I could probably do a shot-by-shot trailer breakdown if I really wanted to, but I don't want to do that.
I don't want you to either, so that works out.
Yeah, because
I think it was very cool cinematographically. Cinematographically, that's a weird word.
Cinematographically.
Anyway, there was a really cool shot where, I mean, they've done this in other movies, but where it was like his foot tapping a puddle, but I thought the puddle originally, like the reflection of the puddle looks like the building, like the facade of the building. But then it's revealed it's a puddle when he sort of taps his foot in.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
It is very cool.
And there's a lot of like cool tricks that sort of show that he's losing his sanity, or like doesn't even have it, or he's living, different lives. Well, so I thought it was cool. A lot of cool camera tricks in that show.
I agree, and I think that Oscar Isaac, he seems like a kind of like he seems like an artsy kind of guy. I feel like he wouldn't have done this show if he wasn't like sure that it was going to be at least interesting to watch and do, Yeah. But one of the main complaints people are having on the internet is that Oscar Isaac's character of Stephen Grant has a British accent, whereas Moon Knight
I've seen that.
does not have a British accent.
I think wasn't it Mark Spencer? I thought that he was
Mark Spector. Well, the thing about Moon Knight is he is basically three characters, right? He's got multiple personality disorders, so he's Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, and Mark Spector. Mark Spector is the main personality. Stephen Grant is the personality that most of the trailer takes place with. So I think Stephen Grant is going to have a British accent, but Mark Spector and Jake Lockley are going to have American accents.
Yeah, that explains why it's a bad accent, right?
Yeah, because it's not a great accent.
I've also seen all these complaints. People are like, "Oh, the accent sucks for Americans doing British accents." Blah 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 blah. That's the point. All right.
Yeah, exactly. And I really hope that this happens because Jake Lockley is the third personality, and he's like the biggest dick of the three personalities. He's like just a prick, and the way he differentiates himself from the other two is by putting on a fake mustache. So I really, really, really hope there is a scene in the show where Oscar Isaac has to switch personalities, and you just see him slowly applying a fake mustache and then going and beating up a guy.
Yeah.
And there's that scene where he's putting on the Moon Knight costume, right?
Doesn't really put it on, it just sort of wraps him. I like the way it looks. It's kind of like got a mummy feel to it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I think that when the Moon Knight costume's wrapping around him, that's a figment of his imagination. I think that's him part of him losing his mind, is the costume being magical and forming around him. I think it's just he actually just puts it on, and in his mind it forms around him like a magic suit of armor, you know?
Interesting.
Because it's heavily debated in the comics whether or not the mystical Egyptian god that keeps Mark Spector alive is an actual Egyptian god, or if it's just a fourth personality that his mind developed in order to cope with almost dying in the desert, right? Because that's how he got his powers. He was a mercenary, and then he got shot in the desert.
That's interesting. I think Marvel's probably going to go with it's real, because that's the way they are right now.
I think so, too.
A lot of cool magic shit. It'd be nice to see, like, a more psychological story like that. Or maybe they'll go full, like, the comics, like you said, and just have it be, like, a question.
Yeah. Well, there's, like, a lot
they'll probably go with magic.
Because after I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm going to reread all of my Moon Knight books. So I reread all of my Moon Knight books, and there's a lot of weird, trippy imagery in the more recent Moon Knight books, you know? There's a run written by Jeff Lemire, which is very good. I don't know who it was drawn by. And there's just a lot of weird, trippy imagery where New York is covered in sand, and there's all these flying bug men, and Anubis and all these other gods are all about. It's weird and crazy, and I hope that's where they go with it. I hope it's not just a guy. I hope it's not just basically Daredevil, but he's got a second personality. You know? I hope it's more than just a guy. I hope it leans into the occult stuff that Moon Knight is known for. You know? Because Moon Knight fights werewolves. That's part of his thing. He loves it. His first appearance was made in Werewolf by Night in the 70s, I think. And because he's the Moon Knight, so, werewolves also like the moon.
Boom.
So I'm hoping, I don't think werewolves will be in this. I think the main villain is going to be Ethan Hawke, who's playing a character. I think he's playing a character called Sun God, who thinks he's Ra. You know? He thinks he's Ra's priest on Earth, and he can shoot fire out of his hands and stuff. And he basically runs this cult and kidnaps Moon Knight and all his family and stuff.
Hey, podcast listeners. So, we kind of just stopped talking after this. So there wasn't really much of a conclusion. So this is future Jake editing. And, I just want to let you know it's over. Yeah, kind of anticlimactic, but, that's it. Bye.